My husband secretly films our sex life. I found out on his friend's phone. I always believed trust was the strongest part of our marriage. My husband, Ryan, 34, and I, 31, have been together for almost a decade, married for 4 years. We've had our ups and downs like any couple, but never anything major. Until 2 weeks ago, when everything I thought I knew about him came crashing down in a way I still can't fully process. Ryan invited some of his old college friends to our house for a weekend get-together. Just the guys, drinks, barbecue, and lots of reminiscing. One of those guys, Dave, always rubbed me the wrong way. He's crude, constantly makes inappropriate jokes, and has this smug look like he knows something you don't. Ryan always brushed it off, said Dave's just a guy's guy, and that I was reading into it too much. I let it go, because I trusted Ryan. Huge mistake. That Saturday afternoon, I was inside prepping drinks and snacks while they were all out on the patio laughing too loudly. Dave had left his phone charging on the kitchen counter. I went to move it to wipe the counter down, and it lit up with a notification, a file-sharing app. Nothing odd at first glance, until I saw the preview images and titles. 3 videos had just been received from a contact labeled our titles like Living Room Angle 2, Night Vision Bedroom, and, God help me, Kitchen Quickie April. My heart started pounding. I shouldn't have opened them, I knew that, but instinct took over. I tapped one. It was me. It was Ryan. It was us, having sex from a hidden angle. I stood there frozen, watching a video of one of our private moments without any idea it had ever been recorded. There was no way I would have consented to that. No way I wouldn't remember if he'd asked. I opened another one. Same thing. A different night, different room, same sick feeling. I could barely breathe. The idea that not only had Ryan filmed us without my knowledge, but that these videos were now on his friend's phone, I felt dirty, betrayed, violated. I stared at the screen in stunned silence until I heard footsteps behind me. It was Dave. He saw the phone in my hand and immediately froze. His expression changed like someone flipped a switch, eyes wide, mouth slightly open. He didn't even try to deny it. "You weren't supposed to see that," he muttered. I snapped. "What the actual hell is this, Dave?" I hissed. My voice was shaking. "Why do you have these videos? Did Ryan send them to you?" Dave didn't answer. He just grabbed his phone, mumbled something, and bolted outside. I stood there, heart pounding, staring at the door, and that's when it hit me. This wasn't just a mistake. This was something bigger, something sick, and I needed answers. Fast. I stood in the kitchen, still shaking, trying to wrap my head around what I'd just seen. Dave had fled like a guilty child, leaving behind a storm he and my husband had created. I wanted to scream. I wanted to smash something. But instead, I forced myself to breathe and marched upstairs to our bedroom. I didn't know what I was looking for exactly, but I knew I couldn't just sit there waiting for Ryan to come back inside like nothing happened. I tore through drawers, checked behind picture frames, under the bed. That's when I found it, his old phone. I remembered Ryan saying it was broken months ago, but something told me to try it. It powered on, no passcode. As soon as I opened the gallery, my worst fears were confirmed. Folders, dozens of them, labeled by date, location, and in some cases, my name. There were videos from every room in the house. Some I remembered, many I didn't. Different angles. Some were zoomed in, clearly edited. It was like watching a stranger's secret life. Only it was me. Every intimate moment I thought was shared just between us was in there. Archived, cataloged, organized like some twisted collection. And then it got worse. One folder was labeled Shared. I opened it. Inside were videos marked with names. Sent to Dave, sent to Matt, Reddit upload, try one. I froze. Reddit? Upload? Was he posting these online? My vision blurred. I had to get out. I grabbed the phone, packed a bag, and left. I didn't even leave a note. I drove straight to Emma's house. When she opened the door and saw my face, she didn't say a word, just pulled me into a hug. Once I calmed down enough to talk, I showed her everything. The phone, the files, the shared folder. She looked like she wanted to throw up. "You have to go to the police," she said. "Now." I wasn't ready. I didn't know how. I felt like I was walking around in someone else's nightmare. Ryan tried calling me at least a dozen times that night, texted even more. The messages started panicked. "Where are you?" Then shifted to apologetic. "I can explain everything. Please just talk to me." I didn't reply. I couldn't. The next morning, Emma drove me to the police station. I handed them the phone, explained what I'd found. The officer looked at me, horrified, and said, "You did the right thing." They took the phone as evidence and opened an investigation. I wasn't prepared for what came next. The detective assigned to my case called me 3 days later and said, "We've found more." When the detective said, "We found more," my heart nearly stopped. I was sitting in Emma's living room, phone to my ear, every muscle in my body tense. I asked him what he meant, already fearing the answer. We've traced some of the files from the device to a cloud storage account, he said. It's registered under an email linked to your husband. There are hundreds of videos, and some of them appear to have been uploaded or shared on forums. We're still investigating the extent. I felt sick. It wasn't just that Ryan had recorded me without my consent. It wasn't just that he'd sent them to his disgusting friend. It was that he'd built an entire digital trail, a whole hidden life, where our private moments were commodities he casually distributed. My trust, my body, my privacy, violated, repackaged, shared like some kind of collectible. The detective continued. We've also identified at least 3 online accounts that have interacted with these videos. They may belong to acquaintances of your husband. We'll need to question him soon. Are you safe where you are? I told him yes, and we ended the call. I sat there for a long time, just staring into space. Emma didn't say anything. She just sat next to me, hand on my back, letting me exist in the silence. Eventually, I whispered, I don't think I ever really knew him. The next day, Ryan finally found out where I was. He showed up at Emma's house. She saw him pull into the driveway and lock the door before he could knock. I stood in the hallway completely frozen. He shouted from the porch, Please, just talk to me. I need to explain. It's not what you think. I wanted to scream at him, but more than anything, I wanted to hear what excuse he could possibly give. I walked to the door, cracked it open, and said, If you have something to say it. But I'm recording this. He hesitated, then said, I only ever did it for us. It was exciting. I never meant to hurt you. I never thought you'd find out this way. I glared at him. Then why did you send them to Dave, or Matt, or upload them online? His face turned pale. Only Dave, I swear. He's the one who asked. The rest, I didn't upload anything. Don't lie to me, I said. The police already know. There's a whole investigation. That's when he broke. He sat down on the porch, head in his hands, and started sobbing. But I felt nothing. Not sympathy, not anger. Just this cold emptiness. And then he said something that chilled me more than anything yet. He looked up at me through red, tear-streaked eyes and said, I wasn't the only one filming. For a second, I thought I'd misheard. My heart skipped a beat. I asked him to repeat it, and he did, quietly this time, like he regretted saying it. Dave? He had his own setup. He's been doing it for years. He convinced me it was normal, that every couple did it eventually, that it was just about capturing the moment. But I never thought it would go this far. My stomach turned. So this wasn't just about Ryan betraying me. It was a sick little club, a network of men violating their partners under the illusion of consensual voyeurism. My voice trembled as I asked, Are you telling me Dave recorded us too? Ryan nodded. Only once, maybe twice. I didn't know at first. Then I found out and just let it happen. Let it happen. That was his defense. I shut the door in his face. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just walked away and collapsed on Emma's couch, completely numb. She didn't ask what he said. She didn't have to. She saw it all in my eyes. Later that night, the detective called again. They had enough to bring Ryan in for questioning. He told me they'd also recovered files from a private server that had uploads traced back to our home IP address and to Dave's address too. I asked him point blank, Were those videos posted publicly? There was a long pause. Then he said, Yes, on at least 2 adult forums. Some have thousands of views. That was the moment my heart shattered. I spent the next few days buried in legal paperwork, a restraining order, divorce papers, victim impact statements. The detective advised me not to view any of the videos if I could help it. It would only re-traumatize me. But I still had nightmares. I imagined strangers watching me, judging me, objectifying moments I thought were sacred. Every glance in the mirror made me feel exposed, like I didn't belong to myself anymore. Ryan was arrested 2 days later, charged with illegal surveillance, distribution of explicit material without consent, and a string of privacy violations. Dave was picked up shortly after. His house was searched, his computer, hard drives, everything confiscated. But nothing prepared me for what they found next. A third man, another friend, one I'd never even met, someone Ryan had been communicating with for years. They called themselves collectors. My case, it turned out, was part of something much bigger than just a disgusting husband with a camera, and I was about to be dragged even deeper into it. The detective's tone changed when he told me about the third man. He called him the archivist, not a nickname you ever want associated with your sex life. Apparently, this guy wasn't just receiving the videos. He was organizing them, curating folders, assigning tags, running a full-blown distribution network on encrypted sites. Videos from hidden cameras in bedrooms, bathrooms, even Airbnb rentals. Mine were just a tiny sliver of a much, much larger collection. The moment I heard that, I felt detached, like my brain couldn't handle any more of this and decided to float above everything instead. The cops believed this man had never been caught before, despite multiple digital fingerprints. But now, with Ryan's files, timestamps, messages, they had a trail. The FBI got involved. That's when everything escalated. I went from being a victim in a local investigation to a federal witness in an interstate cybercrime case. My personal trauma turned into evidence. I had to hand over everything, my phones, laptops, even old hard drives, to verify I hadn't unknowingly been used as a source or link. They needed to be sure. I understood. But it still felt like being violated all over again. Meanwhile, the fallout began. Friends started finding out, my family, Ryan's family. Everyone wanted to know how this happened, how I didn't notice, what kind of man I married, but no one had more questions than me. I never got real answers. Ryan didn't speak during the hearings. His lawyer tried to play the "it was just for us" card again, which the judge shut down fast. The evidence was overwhelming. Dave took a plea deal and flipped on the third guy, the so-called archivist, who is now facing federal charges in multiple states. It's far from over, but progress is being made. As for me, I'm still putting the pieces back together. Therapy has become a lifeline. I still flinch when I hear phone cameras shutter. I check every hotel room now, every smoke detector, every light fixture. I look at trust differently. Love, too. But I'm healing. Slowly. Emma's been a rock. My family rallied around me once the shock faded. And most importantly, I finally filed for divorce. Ryan's sitting in jail awaiting trial, and I'm free. Not healed, not whole, but free. To anyone listening, trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. I ignored so many small signs because I loved him. I thought love meant assuming the best. Never again. What he did to me wasn't just betrayal. It was theft of my safety, my body, my story. But now I'm taking it back, one piece at a time. And this, sharing this, it's the first time I feel like I'm the one recording, not him.